This is Jose Aliaga, and welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. Today I have a special guest and a friend, Troy Coffin. Hi, Troy. How you doing?
Hey Jose, thanks for having me.
Of course, Troy. As you see, the last couple of weeks has been kind of, I would say, crazy but terrible. And today
Hey.
is, September 10 has been probably a terrible day or a dark day for America. It was a direct attack to freedom of speech, which is our constitutional right that make America different than many other countries. We're talking about what happened today when Charlie Kirk got shot in Utah. So it was sad, because as we know, we have friends in common with Charlie, Catalina Stubi. I was talking with Catalina today, and then what just happened is terrible. So do you think this is a terrorist attack or a political attack? What do you think?
As of right now, I think all signs lead me to believe it's a combination of both. I think it's a combination of terror, political politicization against a American citizen, and it's honestly disgusting. And it feels very personal, like you said, considering it's someone that you and I know people in common with Charlie Kirk. The political community is a relatively small community. When you think of precinct delegates and political insiders, it's not as big of a community as people think, and so we all know each other, and it feels very personal because you and I go to these kind of events and we know all these same people as Charlie. So that's why it makes it especially difficult for people like you and me.
Absolutely. Actually, Troy, you were the first person today then told me about this. You text me and says Charlie Kirk got shot, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. So right away, I text Catalina Stuve, which is a friend of Charlie's. I said, Catalina, do you know anything about it? I didn't got anything, and she called me back and says, I just find out that Jose, but I hope he's okay. So she told me she was driving, and I was driving when I got that call back later, and she says she was driving and suddenly says, Jose, I just received a news that he just passed away. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it, Troy. I just couldn't believe this. He's living at two young children's, and I mean, it's so sad how cruel and terrible and evil can be some of these people from the left side. Because you see, to me, I think it's coming from the left side. It was a political and terrorist attack, like you said, it's both. But sad to see happen now in America. I just can't believe it that this is going on now.
And unfortunately, it's happening more and more all the time. You're seeing acts of violence. We saw it just the other day with that Ukrainian girl who got attacked on that subway train. It's just very disheartening, and for both of these things to happen, right, very close and very very close after, one after another like this. It's just very difficult to comprehend. And like I said with Charlie Kirk, he's someone that you and I have people and know people in common with him, and so that's why it makes it especially difficult.
Yeah, Troy, if you look this video, I want to show it to you. Hold on. This is one of the first videos he's showing everybody. Uh, Charlie was there, talking like always he does, and then suddenly he got shot. Now he was talking was like he always does. I mean, he usually talk with many people, and he liked to share his views. He was exercising his constitutional right, which is freedom of speech. He usually have debates here and there with people, but he's well educated. He have a lot of knowledge, and he was doing a great thing. I think what the left didn't like is they have all these college professors brainwashing people's students in the classroom, and now they have somebody like Charlie Kirk travel around the country
The challenge is their
debate,
viewpoint.
sharing the ideas, and people like, oh, I never hear that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, he have a point. You see, and that is what the left didn't like. And kind of interesting too. I don't want to says this, but I mean, I want to make a statement. Donald Trump last week was saying, he was repeated saying that people like George Soros and his son has been funding destructions, attacks, and several negative impact to American freedom of speech. Trump was saying this last week, and this happened this week. I don't know yet because we don't know who should. We don't have a clear statement unless you know something because I know you pay attention, Troy. Do you know anything who did this? Any ideas?
So, to my knowledge, from just an hour ago, I know they had apprehended a second person, but then have since released that individual due to lack of evidence. So, as of right now, they're still on the manhunt for who committed this atrocity. I hope they get brought to justice as soon as possible, and that the right person is taken in and apprehended. But like I said, it's just an all around tragedy right now, and you feel there's a lot of raw emotions. I do I do commend people like Governor Newsom for speaking out and putting a tweet out, um opposing this kind of violence. But yeah, right now it's just a very difficult time for all conservatives alike.
Do you feel as a young conservative is hard in these days be a conservative and be open minded, meaning be exercising your freedom of speech publicly? You feel like it's threatening this in these times? How you feel?
Yeah, I think this was just totally devastating for people my age range. I'm only 4 years younger than Charlie Kirk, and so we're both around the same age range. And I think this will deter a lot of younger people from feeling free to speak out on issues that hold dear to them, such as, being pro-life, being pro-gun, being against the transgender indoctrination in schools, all these different things that a lot of people feel strongly about, and it kind of makes them feel like they don't necessarily have the stage to go out there and freely speak. And it's a very sad day for America in that regard.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I see is happening in Latin America is the liberal media. They like to cover the narrative they want to cover, but also exaggerate. You see, I don't want to change the subject, but it's kind of related about the media, how they coverage issues, like what happened, for instance, um, we see with the Ukrainian lady. It was a Ukrainian student that escaped from Ukraine because the war. She wants to, not just save her life, have a better life, and then she got stabbed by an Afro-American guy. And the liberal media didn't even touch it, they didn't even care. They just
Yeah, you
started.
don't hear so much about it because it doesn't suit their narrative. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of these things work. If it doesn't suit their narrative, then it just isn't covered in the media as it should be.
Now, my question for you is, if it was the other way around, is this person was white and the young lady was Afro American, do you think the outcome will be different? Do you think the liberal media will not just cover it up, but after they have big boom, they will maybe Black Lives Matters and Antifa will be up there burning the city down? Do you think?
I'm
What do you think about that?
I'm inclined to believe that that would be the case. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if is a certainty, but I'm inclined to believe so. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So it's how the leftists operate, I guess. But it's kind of interesting because you see, I have to believe because I see it, Troy. Who have more coverage? This about we're talking about immigrants. This Ukrainian lady have more sympathy, or the guy that was the MS-13 guy from El Salvador? Who got more coverage or more sympathy by the media?
oh, you had politicians, you had people going down and visiting that MS-13 banger in his own home country after he got deported. So I think the writing is on the wall that many politicians on the left, I'm not saying all, but a lot of the politicians on the left prioritize illegal immigrants over the safety of people who are here legally and came here the right way. And unfortunately, it doesn't suit their narrative when a U.S. citizen or someone who's here legally, whether that's through green card or visa or a citizen or whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily suit their narrative to defend people who are victims of crime. If it doesn't suit their narrative, they just turn a blind eye to it, and it's very disheartening and it's very frustrating as a U.S. citizen that values law enforcement in this country.
Yeah. So what do you think about this picture? It
I think
says,
it pretty much sums it up perfectly.
yeah,
Totally
picture of
accurate.
two immigrants got wall-to-wall sympathetic news coverage from the media. Ukrainian refugee escaping the war or wife beating MS-13 gang member? Hmm? So you know
Figures.
the answer. So and that's what happening in America right now. Is how the media treat the issues and create a narrative they want to create and they want to show, and it is sad.
Well, right
Uh,
now the liberal media controls more than 90% of the media, so um, all that can happen is people like you and me and other, lesser known streamers get out there and just keep hitting people with facts and keep posting and keep publishing as much as you can to try to um, divert the false narratives that the mainstream media puts out.
and here is the reason why I brought this to people's attention right now. The reason I believe in my heart, the reason Charlie Kirk got assassinated today, got shot, is because he has been spending his time and life educating people, going around campuses across the country, educating people, bringing new ideas,
Teaching
bringing
people to think for themselves was a big part of it.
right, and he debate people, and and open the door to people to understand the other side of the other side of the argument. So, and that's the reason he got assassinated. Like you state, the media control 90% of what people watch. That's why people like the lady, the Ukrainian immigrant, didn't get enough coverage, and the other guy got enough coverage because that's what they want to picture or portray to people to believe that that's the truth. So what I'm saying is Charlie got shot and assassinated just because he was doing a wonderful job educating students, because students has been brainwashed by college professors, and they didn't like the fact that Charlie Kirk not just was going around campuses, he was the founder of Turning Point USA organization. They also educate people. So he spent all his life helping, bringing knowledge, new ideas, sharing ideas, debating people, and that's I believe that's why he got assassinated. And it's sad, Troy. It's sad. He's leaving, young children's.
Yeah, he leaves behind two young kids, ages 1 and 3. It's just an absolute tragedy. And for someone like me, being a former college Republican on campus, it really hits people like me differently when I was in a very similar role as Charlie Kirk just a handful of years ago. Not too long ago, I was doing the same exact thing he was here in Oakland County, Michigan, and it really hits you harder when you can see yourself in that situation. And my thoughts and prayers go out to his family. My thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Turning Point USA family. I know people that have been affected by this. People that have been affected by this, and anyone who's been affected by this, anyone who we mutually know that knew Charlie Kirk. My thoughts go out to you, and not really much else I can say other than that.
And I believe in prayers, and prayers help. I disagree 100% with Jen Psaki, Joe Biden press secretary, which she was complaining about prayers doesn't matter, is not helping. I do believe in prayers. Prayers help. And I believe if everyone then listen and watching our show today, that prayers will help to Charlie Kirk family to be strong and help to this difficult time for those young children. I just can't imagine. I have a 2-year-old boy, baby, and then it's difficult just to think. Every day I think about Charlie Kirk right now. It's difficult time. And he was doing something very good, something positive, helping people. And he got shot. It's sad. It's very sad. But Troy, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing. And I tonight I'm gonna be praying for Charlie Kirk and for America. And thank you, Troy.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, that was all for today. And please keep us a Charlie Kirk family in your prayers. And then as we see you in the next show. Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Jose. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, but always a pleasure to be on here, as always.
Thank you, Troy.